I am 73 years old and a half, and time is ticking. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to live, but hopefully more than a few years. The point of this talk is about living according to the way. The way may be defined as following the law of nature. And since we're living in the society, not necessarily all of us, but we have to interface with society, so we need to also know the protocol of how the society functions and relate to each other. Because we are born out of the interaction of the people, and we got the birth along with that, process, father, mother, ancestors, and all of that. So we have a DNA already programmed as much as the human species have been evolving over years, millions of years perhaps. And the DNA gets longer, so I think the process will continue. This evolution, if we don't fail to do some stupid thing, the human being may be able to achieve lots of what we want to do, fulfilling the mission as a human species, and as a part of the planet and all the other species related and interacting with each other. So it's a big picture as well as for the individual to live well, how to make the most of the genes we got. Some of those you can argue because you are born from whatever the course of event. So some may be lucky to have certain genes, and not just genes, also the environment that we are born. We get lots of influence from parents and the friends and all of that. And depending on what kind of reference we have, we may go into the wrong direction or right direction. The right direction, I see it as a lively living, that we are, say, excited and feel the sense of how we are living in our body or from our body. So when we talk about the way to live, I want to mention the inner body sensation, the importance of it, because we are the living being and our body is functioning without the mind orchestrating or telling what the stomach should do and how it should function, or the lung should function, or digest the food. All of the complexities that goes through in our unconsciousness is actually like the body is conscious of what to do. Each cells, even to the level of the virus, not the virus, the stuff living in our intestine, all the micro organisms that may live, we have the relationship, and depending upon how the relationship is maintained or not maintained, the health would suffer, and therefore the body would suffer. And if so, then the waku waku, the sense of liveliness that we may get, may suffer. And whenever we have those difficulties, we, or the body, would suffer, and we have to go through some learning not to eat certain food, or not to do certain exercise, or not to do this or that. So living life happily as we are programmed and utilizing whatever we got from the society and education and all the information we may get from internet and books and all of that, we want to synthesize those well for the purpose of living well. The sensation of being on the way of life, following the law of nature and the social construct of how we can behave and help each other. If we do that well, we'll be happier, or at least living according to the way, a Tao in Chinese. There's even a book called the Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching is from Lao Tzu. I often read that. And these days people talk about meditation, yoga, and all of that. And all of that effort that we go through, to me, is to relate to what's going on at the basis of our living, the source of our foundation, where the lively action is taking place to make us live and live well. And if we are disconnected from that, let's say there's a body saying certain things, and if the mind is too busy about other things and confused what may be the priority and what to do, then that alignment may be lost and we may do certain things which may not make sense. If you think about the child growing up, and of course the kids may be lively and having fun at the beginning and trying this, trying that, the playmate and the playing games and all the inquisitiveness of the world, animals and plant and all of that. And they have that energy, but over time, of course, you make a mistake, you learn from parents or by yourself. And if you violate certain rule of the society, that's also the case. And even the worst case is that even if you're doing the right thing, if your references or the environment is not in tune to very well developed way, then you may gain, have some bad habit developed. Therefore, later in your life, you may have difficulty. Some may go into jail doing something wrong and suffer the consequence. So if we were to suffer the consequence of the wrong action, hopefully we learn the lesson early. And if you have a good genes and good environment to live and all that, and the references from the books and the internet, and have a good access of those right information, good information, that you may be better. But if that's not the case, what do you do? So again and again, I think following the law of nature, the way of the society, and relate to that well, is a primary concern for us. And like I said, there's some liveliness, waku waku feeling. Waku is boiling water kind of a word in Japanese, waku waku, life energy. And I believe we have that faculty to relate to that waku waku. When you see a nice sunset, or you achieve something, or you accomplish and share and have fun with people, there's a sense of being alive. Maybe watching the movie, impressed and all that. And that sensation, you cannot have it in the brain, as far as I'm concerned. I feel it in our body, in my body. Waku waku sensation, life energy, the feel of the energy. There's a connection if we are attentive to that. So to say it simply, all the effort, the exercise, meditation, all of that we do, need to have some connection to that, the fundamental sense of, or I call it the gyroscope, so that we know where we are, how we feel, and then that will give us a sense of which way to go. If you do something extreme to the right or to the left, it may violate the rhythm or the tone or the harmony or the way of nature of the society. So you need to balance out and take action effectively so that this balancing act and the direction and the reference gaining and assessing and the synthesizing and coming up with the wisdom, that whole process is something that we should be very attuned to get. So in my case, I've gone through some Zen training and gone through various koans, the puzzle, conundrum. And there's no easy answer. I can give you lots of examples, but usually it will be a case of when you have a difficulty to understand with the mind, because the mind has some limitations, so that the koan will put you into the cul-de-sac situation to break through, so that you gain way of going beyond the conventional wisdom of the mind, but rather to connect to the root of your being. There's a funny koan of the thief father training the thief son, and he locked his son in a small box or whatever treasure box he found in some wealthy person's warehouse, and he locked it and left. And the son had to find a way, and what he did was made a little noise, so the people from the house came out. Oh, that's the mouse. What is it? That's the box. So they opened up, and the guy popped up and ran, and then as he ran, people got surprised. He found the well, threw the stone into it, made a noise, and then move on. The people thought he fell into the well, and all of that. There are a bunch of those examples that was in the koan, but he found a way. It's a funny koan, but it's also pointing the way to be creative, given the hard situation, and what may be the lessons from the koan. So that's the koan. I'm not going to go much detail into it, but we are forced to go through some difficulties and how to find the right way. Thief is not a good example, but whether the thief or the president or the laborer or the management guru or whatever the thing that you do, there are certain difficulties in how to make the most of what you've got, given the situation, and then find the liveliness. I'm not going to go into the moral discussion of the killing and, the sins and all that. That's another dimension of things the society has to figure out. There's the laws and all the learning that we are gaining, and then we can navigate the life better. But the point here is that the essential construct of our being and connect to the root of our being, of liveliness and trying to retain it. And so if you are depressed at work or relationship, hobby, losing money, anything, those situation changes and the life is unpredictable. Your background, your habitual pattern, all that may be influenced by the DNA or the influence from the surroundings. And nobody's perfect, but we are given the situation to learn, not make the mistake, repeat the mistake, but find the way, the wisdom, and have the waku waku sensation. And then the liveliness would help your body to be more vibrant. You may have this sense, if you have that gyroscope I'm talking about, by training of the Zen or meditation or spiritual pursuit, because the mind itself has a limitation. I posted in various videos about the limitation, how can we calm our mind so that we can extend our reach of our awareness and living in the now, in presence, have an awareness as if the whole body and mind is connected and almost transparent, have the sense of life energy coming out. And you also sense it when it's dampened. What do? So that you may take a rest instead of rushing to do things that you are engaged, or the habitual pattern and how to overcome or find the passage is how we are put on earth to figure out. When you die, you'll be rested, so you go back to the basis of peacefulness. But while they are alive, don't go to the direction where you suffer or find the early death by doing something stupid. But often we don't know what's stupid. So that's the lesson that we have to go through. And that's how we are put and how we find and how, why, and how to make a living is why we are here for. So what's the bottom line of this? From the childish, we have that energy, waku waku. But depending upon how the DNA and the environment they put ourselves go through, we may have good habit and bad habit to promote and not promote that waku waku sensation. And you may go to the wrong waku waku to do something stupid that is violating the rule of the society and all that. Then you have to pay the price. So how to navigate your life? Charlie Munger, one of the investors, I find him interesting. One of his saying is that don't to go where you die. As an investor, they invest money for the sake of the greed or some stimulation or new information, jump into buying a stock, and you may pay the price. So the wrong judgment in investment cause you lots of financial burden or penalty, but the same applies to how you choose your passage in your life. Our ego is to narrowly, using our mind without looking at all angles. That may cause us to be too self-centered and have a missing linkage with society. Or the mind can have a missing linkage to the body. So how do we harmonize, find a way? Of course, it's not easy, but there's a joy of figuring this out with wisdom. And I think my point of this message is just that. Find the skill to know what is really going on, also relating to the inner body sensation, because too much occupied in mind doesn't do any good. So hopefully the sensation waku waku, having a gyroscope so that we can find a good balance and find the passage, all aligned to the good vision that you are helping yourself and helping the society. So there's alignment, and then the mind is aligned to that, and the core of our being is aligned to that. So that everything is better aligned according to the basic principle of the way of nature and the way of the society that we can make. That makes us to be happy and help each other. Maybe too broad a picture that I'm talking about young days and the habitual pattern, the development process, and how we go through fun and suffering and finding the way. No easy answer, but that makes our life worthwhile if we are having a good spirit, determination to find this puzzle and find the passage into the future. So I'm 73 going 74. A few more years left, maybe even less, I don't know. I'm just realizing those basic points. And if I can help others as much as I'm helping myself by talking about it with all the videos that I put on YouTube, I hope that may encourage us to be positive about what we can do and have fun in the process. And may all beings be happy to live the best we can, making sense, and have the vibrant sense of waku waku that we can find along the way. Thank you.